Hi boys and girls, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about camping. Last week we talked about beach and things that we do at the beach and see at the beach. Today we are going to talk about camping. So I picked this book called Curious George Goes Camping by Margaret and H.A. Reyes. Have you guys gone camping before? You have? I love camping. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. This weekend, George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, had a special plan. They were going to go camping. So much fun! So they packed up their car with their cooler, their sleeping bags, and their tent. At the campsite, the man with the yellow hat unpacked their gear while George looked at all the tents. He saw tents for big families and one just for the right size for a puppy. There are even tents on wheels. Would you like to help me put up our tent, George? The man asked. Ooh, so there are different types of tents. There are going to be big tents, small tents for puppies, and tents or campers on wheels. So I used to have a tent like this. And then I also, when I was growing up, I had a tent that had wheels. George was happy to help. It would not be hard to set up the tent, he thought. Boy, but it wasn't easy. George, why don't you fill our bucket with water at the pump? His friend suggested. We'll need it by our campfire later when we roast marshmallows. Yummy. Marshmallows? George loved marshmallows. He couldn't wait to try them roasted. Now, don't wander off and get into trouble, the man warned, but George did not hear him. He was already gone. Uh-oh. There's George running into the forest to get the water. At the pump, George worked the handle up and down. Soon his bucket was full. On the way back down the trail, he saw a family packing up. George watched a girl pour her bucket of water on the campfire. The fire sizzled out. George thought that looked like fun. So he poured his bucket of water on the next campfire he saw. Oh no. Hey, yelled the camper. We weren't finished with that yet. The camper began to chase George, but George didn't mean to cause any trouble. Now he only wanted to hide. He ran into the forest as fast as he could, but the camper's footsteps followed close behind. George ran faster and faster, and the footsteps came closer and closer until suddenly, he's getting nervous. They were passing George. Why? It was not the camper chasing George. It was a deer. What fun to run with a deer! Forgetting all about the camper and the marshmallows, George ran after the deer. But a little monkey cannot run as fast as a deer in the woods. Before long, George was lost and all alone. He felt tired, stopped to rest. At first he was worried. He was very far from camp, but there were lots. Uh-oh. How do you think he feels? Is he happy or sad? He's sad. He's all alone. There's nobody by him. Oh no. But there were lots of other animals to keep him company. Look at all those different animals. I see deer and rabbits and squirrels and fish in the ponds. He saw a lizard sunning on a rock and a squirrel chattering in a tree. Then he saw the tail of a black and white kitty peeking out from under a bush. He was curious. Would the kitty like to play? George gently pulled the kitty out. Uh-oh. Do you think a kitty would be in the forest? I don't think so. Do you know what animal has a black and white tail that lives in the forest? Do you know? It's a skunk. And a skunk, when they're scared or nervous, when they lift up their tails, they spray. And the spray has this gross, smelly smell to it. So you better be careful if you see a skunk, because you don't want to go near a skunk. Then they'll spray you. Uh-oh. It wasn't a kitty. It was a skunk. And the skunk got nervous and sprayed George. Oh no. Phew, this spray smelled so bad. The animals tried to get away. George wanted to get away too, but he could not. The smell was all over him. How would he ever get rid of this awful smell, he wondered. Too bad he could not take a bath in the woods. Can he? Let's see. But then George had an idea. He could wash the smell off of him in the creek. So he took a cannonball into the creek and scrubbed and splashed, but he was still so smelly. And now he was wet too. But what could he do? George thought. If he climbed up a tree to dry off, would the smell blow away? Do you think it would blow away? I don't think so. No. Even dry and high up in the tree, George did not smell any better. Poor George. He wished he hadn't wandered so far away from camp. He wished he were roasting marshmallows with his friend. Suddenly, George heard footsteps heading towards him. Someone was coming. It was the forest animals. But they ran right by him. Oh no, why? Why would they run right by George? What's happening? There was a fire. George had gotten into trouble for putting out one fire, but this fire wasn't on the campground. This was an emergency. So quickly, George climbed down the tree and grabbed the bucket. He scooped it full of water from the creek. Then, being careful not to spill, he climbed back up and swung from branch to branch. What do you think he's going to do with all that water? Yeah, he's going to put the fire out. When George got close enough to the fire, he reached down and poured the water on the flames. Out went the fire with a big hiss. Just then, George's friend rushed out of the forest with the ranger. "George," he called, "I was afraid you would be here." "It's a good thing you were here," said the ranger. "We saw smoke from the campground, but you put this fire out just in time." George was glad to help, and the man with the yellow hat was glad to see that George was safe. But he had a funny look on his face. "George, what is that smell?" Back at the campsite, George's friend helped him get rid of this awful smell after a strange bath in tomato juice. George smelled just fine. So tomato juice took away the smell. Then the man with the yellow hat invited the ranger to cook dinner with them over their own small campfire. Fires can be nice if you are careful. So you don't want to go next to a fire without an adult. Fires are dangerous. You have to be very careful. They're too hot. George agreed. And so are roasting marshmallows. Yummy. George had fun roasting those marshmallows. Do you guys like to roast marshmallows and make s'mores? Me too. All right, now we are going to do a fun worksheet. So this worksheet is called Camping Color by Letter. So this is my campfire. This is my campsite, and there are different letters. and each letter is a color, okay? So down here, all the B's have to be blue, all the D's have to be red, all the P's have to be brown, all the O's have to be gray, all the G's have to be green, all the C's have to be yellow, and all the R's have to be purple, okay? So we are going to do the first letter, which is B, and B is blue. So get your blue crayon or your colored pencil or your markers out, and we're going to find all the B's. Can you find a B? Yeah, they are right here up in the sky. There's only 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. So all of this has to be blue. So let's color. Okay. Okay. So just my B's are blue. Just like that. Awesome work. Okay, the next color. The next letter is going to be D. And D, all the D's are red. So let's look for D's. Can you find a D? Right here, there's 2. 1, 2. So just these 2 are going to be red. So color those first, and then we'll look for more D's. Okay. Let's look. So here are my D's. There's 1, 2. Do you see another one? Good. Right here. So just this little flame is going to be red. All right. Good job. Okay. Now the next letter is P. And P, all the P's are going to be brown. So do you see up letter P? Yeah, there's 3 right here. There's 1, just the camp that this is a wood sign that says camp, and then the logs for the fire. So let's color those brown, and we'll look for other P's after we're done coloring those. Good job. Do you guys see another P? Yeah, my mushroom and the trunk of the tree. So these 2. So let's color these two next brown. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 P's that should be brown. Awesome work. The next color is, the next letter is O, and O are going to be gray. Can you find O's? Yeah, right here. That's for our campfire. And there's one more O in the picture, so we're going to find it after we're done coloring. Our campfire. Okay. Do you see another O? Yes, the triangle for tent has the letter O on it. So that's going to be gray too. Okay. Oh, and there's one more. The stick for our camp sign has the letter O, so that's going to be gray too. Just like that. Awesome work, friends. You guys are doing so good. The next letter is G, and G is going to be green. What do you think is green in this picture? The tree, good, that has a G. And the grass, that has a G. So there's a lot of green. So let's color the tree and the grass. Okay. So that was a lot of green. So all the grass has to be green and the tree. Awesome work. And the next letter is C. C has to be yellow. And there's only one C. Can you find it? Yep. That's the fire. Good job. Okay. Awesome work. The last letter is R. R is going to be purple. My worksheet got cut off, but it's an R, and it's going to be purple. So what do you think is left? Yeah, all these. These are going to be purple, so we're going to color those. Those are going to be the mountains. So here's my picture. You guys did awesome. Great work today, friends. I'll see you later. Bye.